So the first example is of a cell surface marker implicated in autoimmune and inflammatory disease. And in this case, the challenge was that not only this protein was in many different cells, including the immune cells where we wanted to target it, it was also that it had different shapes in healthy cells versus the cells in the disease, meaning it was in a monomeric form in healthy cells and it was in a cluster form in the disease. So the challenge was to be able actually to purify the protein in those different formats in J-mixes, but also in nanodiscs, reconstitute them in a macrophage-like lipidic bilayer. And then from the hits that we got, from the antibodies that we got, being able to choose an antibody that would only recognize the cluster form of the protein and hopefully also help disrupting the cluster. So this is what we did. We expressed the protein in mammalian cells without any modification, except for the tags, of course, for purification. We used our J-mixes and G.CLIPS assay to have the target in the desired format, reconstituted it in nanodisk for the future characterization, and did some G-validation assay for the hits that we got. Expression went very well. We had established stable cell line to have the protein well expressed on the cell surface. Then we prepared the protein and we solubilized the membranes with different J-mixes that we have. The idea was to find J-mixes that would either stabilize monomers or clusters, and being able then, so as you can see, many of them stabilized the monomers, but we had also some of the J-mixes that stabilized the cluster, which was interesting. So we used those to have to purify first on affinity columns and then to separate monomers from clusters on size exclusion chromatography. Those targets in a cluster format, in bicell format that we have generated were sent to a partner to be used as antigen for immunization in chicken and rabbit. They were quite well immunogenic. We had binders. They were sent to us to be tested. In the meanwhile, we reconstituted those same proteins, the same purified protein in nanodisk, either as cluster or as monomer. We made sure that we can see both formats. We also did ELISA with a commercial antibody to make sure that we recognize both the cluster and the monomer, and compared with control antibody, but also with empty disks, and everything went well. And then we used those to identify antibodies that specifically recognized only the cluster form and not the monomeric form. And then using our G-validation assay, where we put the fluorophore at the C-terminus of the protein, we could see a difference when the protein was in a cluster or in a monomer, and we could choose one antibody where we had the chance to observe a disruption of this cluster. So this was really nice to be able to see actually both formats used for immunization and then for characterization, and also to have the mechanism of action. And in this case, this assay that we have developed was then used as a potency assay for the batch release.